Hello there. Good evening, everybody. I want to welcome you here to the Prog Monster. My name is Murph. I am the host of this show. This is a show dedicated to progressive rock and other forms of rock music. So, this is my third attempt to do this stream tonight. The first one was set wrong and wasn't in the webcam form, so I wasn't able to access it. So, I tried to start a second one, and I tend to have screwed that one completely up. So this one I started again, got everything in line the way I wanted to, and then started it. So if nobody comes, I get it completely. Anyways, the topic tonight was supposed to be a progressive rock free-for-all and a particular topic that you wanted to talk about. I had picked out 3 albums that I have been looking at and listening to a bit today and was going to talk a bit about them. So I guess I'll do that until people kind of catch up with me. The first one was, of course, Dark Side of the Moon. This one I'm also doing on another show later this week. I'm just looking to see what it's going to be. Oh, yeah. So this will be for my Tuesday night episode on, I think it's the the mini-series, The Catalyst for. So we'll be using this album for that catalyst for the psychedelic rock. I believe that's the one we had. It's not necessarily going to be this album. It'll probably more likely be some of the earlier Pink Floyd stuff that I'll be using as an example. I just pulled that one out for a visual effect, I guess. The other 2 albums I've been listening to, this one, Metal from Pink Floyd as well. This is an album that I didn't really like. There's a nice picture of them on the inside, but I like the cover. I like the first track. I like the last track, but the rest of the album I'm not really crazy about. And so I was kind of dismissing the album a lot because of, the overwhelming amount of songs that are not of interest to me. I must look for my glasses here. But to be honest with you, I was listening to it today and I realized that most people listen to this album for that Echoes. Echoes is the big song. And by itself, it's a gargantuan song. Absolutely gargantuan. So this, tell me if I'm wrong here, but I think this is their 6th studio album. Came out after Atomic Atom Heart Mother, which I like a lot. This one is the next one, and kind of the beginning, I think, of that space age kind of Pink Floyd sound, progressive rock sound that became famous a few albums later on Dark Side of the Moon, this one. And actually went on from this right through to The Wall, where it started to change a bit after that. But this was originally released in November of 1971. So you're looking at 54 years ago now. But I think it's warm. I've warmed up to it a lot. And the reason I've warmed up to it a lot and that I kept at it because it's such a popular Pink Floyd album that I figured I had to really kind of give a serious effort to listen to this thing. The other album that I was listening to today, because it just went into my playlist, so it's in the 20th spot in my playlist now, is the Keys to Ascension by Yes, their second one. So the first one I kind of liked. I wasn't crazy about it, but I kind of liked it. This one has 2 discs, of course, with it, the same as the other one. A live recording in San Luis Obispo. I'm not even sure where that is. I'm sure somebody else will know. So this, of course, features John Anderson, Alan White, Chris Squire, Steve Howe, and Rick Wakeman, the kind of classic, one of the 2 classic bands, that lineups that Yes had. A nice shot of them here. And I do like this album cover, although I do think I like the Keys to Ascension, the first one, the album cover on that one a little better. I've never actually seen a triple bass until here. So it looks like he's got a 4-string, 2 4-strings, 3. They're all 3 of them are 4 strings. Actually, the top one may actually be only 3 strings. Anyways, it entered my playlist this week. When I redid my playlist for the week, I took out a couple albums. This one got put in there along with Pentagram's new album as well. And so the live version is good. Of course, I've seen All Good People, which I could do without. I'm going for the one. I've never been a huge fan of that particular song. I don't hate it. Time and a Word I like. And then, of course, Close to the Edge, Turn of the Century, and You and I like them all quite a bit. So it was pretty good. I was listening to it. I liked it. But this back album, this new studio tracks on the back album, Mind Drive, Footprint, Bring Me to the Power, Children of Light, 2 parts to that, and The Sign Language. This is really good. Much better than I originally, when I first listened to it the first time. I guess I didn't really listen to it very well. I didn't listen to it closely anyways. I think this is really good. It's actually quite heavy for a Yes album. I kind of dismiss a lot of the Yes albums after the early 90s, like after Drama. You got the 3 kind of poppy albums, the Trevor Rabin era albums, I guess you'd call them, which at times I've liked, but I don't really consider them classic Yes. And then you had the what do they call it? The one where they all come together. Can't think of the name of it. Anyways, that I wasn't really big on. And then there was a couple of albums in the 90s that I kind of liked, like The Ladder, and I think there was one more towards the end. I can't remember the name of it, but anyways. And then in this century, there was a couple, like the one in 2011. Fly From Here, I kind of like that a bit. And then the last one, Mirror to the Sky, I kind of like that a bit. But this one here, I think, is going to be the strongest of all those. I like this quite a bit. Maybe that'll change after a few listens to it, but I was listening to it today, and it really struck me as how heavy it was and how strong it was instrumentally compared to a lot of the Yes stuff that you've been getting over the last couple of decades. And I do like this cover too, even though it's kind of similar, but just a different color flavor to it. Yeah, so Keys to Ascension. I kind of like this a lot more than I thought. So this came out in the 90s. So pretty good. This was actually produced by both Yes and Billy Squier as well. Of course, another Roger Dean cover. So the 2 Keys to Ascension, I like this one better by quite a bit, I think. So those were the albums I was kind of looking at today, progressive-wise, and liking them quite a bit, all 3 of them. So other albums that have kind of been in my mindset as far as the progressive realm goes have been, of course, the IQ album Subterranea, which is was doing and is still doing pretty well on my playlist. I don't know if it's going to make it to like 10 months or anything like that. That's asking a lot. Few albums get to that 10-month period. I think maybe I've had 20 or 24 albums over the course of the time I've been doing that playlist, going back to sometime in the 90s when it kind of started it a little bit. And then when it evolved in the turn of the century, it's kind of a this century kind of thing, I think. And I just kind of didn't really pay too much attention to it early on. But once I started doing it regularly, and I got, originally it was 5 and 10 albums, and then once it jumped to 20 albums about 4 or 5 years ago, and actually I think it was longer than that. It's probably more like it's been more like a couple of decades, since about 2006 when I started that. You really get Few albums get over 40 weeks, which is like 10 months. 10 months on the charts is a long time. I could probably say there's probably been, in that time period, maybe 10 or 15 albums that have kind of reached that level, 40 weeks. That's or 10 months. I've had none. Only one album I think of, Songs from the Wood, which really lasted longer than a year on my playlist, continuously, like on my playlist and part of the playlist for like an entire year. I've had a couple of them in recent years, Acquiring the Taste by Gentle Giant, which I think was around 11 months, pretty close to the year. And same with No Prayer for the Dying by Iron Maiden. That one actually was pretty close to that time, like maybe 10 and a half, 11 months at the time too. And then you also have the current Gentle Giant album, Octopus, which is, I don't know, I would say it's pushing 11 months now, pretty close to it if it isn't. Maybe even get to a year. It could get the year, but it's kind of faded up quite a bit now over the last bit. So I don't want to burn it out. So more than likely in the next month or so, it'll probably go off of my playlist and something else will go in there. But a couple of Gentle Giant albums have done really well for me. But Yes hasn't really done anything for me in decades, literally decades. The last time I had a dominant Yes album that was new, that I played for a good length of time, was probably 90125 and Big Generator a little bit too, but those are kind of the two. And then, I've had little bits with some of the later albums, Magnification, The Ladder, Fly From Here, Mirror to the Sky. I guess those are probably the ones that I've listened to. Those and the Keys to Ascension 1. But I really never followed any extensively for any. Like, I don't think there's been a Yes album since the early 80s that have kind of got to that 6-7 month barrier, which is tough to make too. I don't think I've had a single one make it there. I think the Mirror to the Sky, I think, was close. It might have been 5.5 months. Then it kind of pulled it off. But yeah, there hasn't been anything in decades for Yes, which is kind of unfortunate. So I'm hoping that this one, I really enjoyed it today. One of the most enjoyable new Yes stuff that I've listened to in a long, long time. So it's not new, obviously. It's like almost 25, 30 years old, but it's new to me. So that's the way, that's what I have to go on. If I was going to, and I'm still kind of hoping that Yes will do another album. I do like John Davidson's voice quite a bit, and I've enjoyed the stuff with him. But to be honest, if Yes is ever going to kind of come back together, like Rick Wakeman, John Anderson, Steve Howe, they're the kind of the last guys in the band. It would be nice for them to do one more album together because they're all pushing it. And, there's not much time left to do even that. Now, John Anderson did the True album, which I thought was really good. A lot of people say it's the best Yes album in decades. I do like the front half of it quite a bit, like the first 3 or 4 songs. I do like it quite a bit, and then it kind of drops off for me quite considerably after that. I don't like the cover very much either. And to me, it's still a John Anderson album. He's still the dominant force on it. The guys that are playing in it are fantastic musicians. Can't take anything away from any of them. Keyboards are great. The guitar I thought was great. The drumming is good. It's all solid stuff. But I'd still prefer having Steve Howe somewhere in that mix. No Steve Howe or no Rick Wakeman. To me, it's still not really Yes. I don't know if it could ever be Yes Again without Chris Squire, though, really, to be honest with you. Maybe you can bring Bill Bruford back. Maybe you can change the drummer a bit, but um, Chris Squire had a very unique sound, very dominating. Rick Wakeman is essential to Yes, to my way of thinking. Same with Steve Howe. Those are the guys, right? Pretty hard to replace them. Even if you get guys who can do what they did, still not the same. That's just my opinion. But there's always hope that John and Steve can kind of bury the hatchet a bit. I kind of get why Steve Howe's very annoyed with John Anderson, but he's still kind of holding on to it too long. Got to let it go, and he's got to bring him back. I think there's got to be at least one more. It would be nice, anyways, if there was. To me, it's not the same as the Styx element. The Styx element's very different. I don't know what you would get if Dennis DeYoung was to go back with Styx. It would be difficult. I think they just clearly don't want any part of him anymore. It's kind of Tommy's band now, even more so than it's ever been, because I've been listening to the newest Styx album quite a bit, and to me, it's not really there's no JY on it at all. Like, he doesn't write anything, he doesn't sing anything. I don't even know if he plays much guitar on it. Does he do much on the album? I don't know. Maybe he's done. Could be done, right? Even Ivan. I can't think of how to pronounce his name at the moment. The new guitar player, who was actually, it's not really new to the band. He's been working with them for the last 2 or 3 albums. He's got some great stuff. He's good himself. His voice isn't really a Styx-like song. Doesn't really do Styx-like sound to his voice at all. So you're basically counting on Gowan and Tommy Shaw to carry that load. And actually, Ivanovich, I think that's it. Ivankovich. I can't think of his name. I'm drawing a blank on it, so I apologize for that. But anyways, his sound is very different, and he actually wrote or co-wrote more songs on that album than any other member. Now, Chuck is back in the band, so I guess that's a little bit of an addition. I do like their drummer quite a bit as well. But, no JY at all. Very, very few guitar solos. Doesn't even say much about him on the album. He doesn't sing at all. I don't think he sings at all. Maybe he does some backing vocals. I don't know. But doesn't write anything, doesn't sing anything. To me, that's not really Styx. It is Styx, of course. It sounds like Styx. It's quite a bit like Styx, actually. It's a good album, solid album. Just a little bit disappointed. I wanted some JY in there. I thought after the last album he might do a little bit more. He did a little bit on the last album, but maybe he's just reached the point where he's just like he's the oldest member, I believe, of the band. He's got to be pushing 75. Maybe he's just tired of it. Maybe he just doesn't want to do. He's just happy to go out there and play some guitar, and that's it. Maybe that's all he wants. I'm not sure what's going on there, but the new guy is prominent all over the album. And I suspect that going forward, he will be much more prominent. Tommy, of course, is really good, as always. Tommy is ageless, not going to probably change in the next few years. I thought Lawrence Gowan was pretty good on this album, but I think he was better on the previous album. The Crash of the Crown, to me, is a great, great album. This album, it's still open on that one. I'm not sure if I'm going to where I would put this one. I'm just kind of, there's some good stuff on it, obviously some absolute classic Styx sounding stuff, but it's not as aggressive as the previous album. Some of the songs are a little bit longer, so I guess that's better. The album cover itself is really good. The Tommy stuff is really good. Even the Yvonne, why don't I just get the album? Just quit screwing around with his name. So, yeah, I like the cover, really good. And the back is really good too. Lots of good tracks. It's a pretty colorful album. Sounds good. Sound is really good. The production is excellent. Yeah, Will Ivankovich. That's now I remember it now as soon as I looked at it. Ivankovich. So he's very good. He's a solid musician in every stretch of the word that you can think of, but he doesn't really have that Styx voice. That's my only issue really with him. Lawrence is great. It does say that James does do electric and vocals, so I'm assuming he's doing backing vocals as well. But he doesn't actually sing any tracks on this album that I'm aware of. We didn't write anything, so, and they don't really tell you who's doing the vocals, but it's easy to tell when it's Tommy, and it's easy to tell when it's not Tommy. It's also easy to tell when it's Lawrence. It says all songs written by Tommy Shaw, Will Ivankovich, and Lawrence Gowan. So nothing by JY at all. Nothing. I don't even see. So I'm wondering if he's just got to a point where he just doesn't want to sing anymore. Probably doesn't want to write anymore. Maybe he's just tired of, not interested in writing new music anymore. That could be very the case. We don't really know. At least I don't. The other guy stepped up, seems to be wanting to write a lot of stuff. His name is on like almost all the tracks as far as the music goes. Got a couple of songs here that he wrote by himself, both lyrics and music. So pretty much him and Tommy are the dominant pair on here, but he even actually has more credits than Tommy does. But the real good part about this is I see that Chuck is back, labeled as a member of the band with full bass guitar credits as well. I think the other guy, Terry Gowan, which is Lawrence's brother, is also a bass player on here. Does he play anything else? Let me see. Upright bass. So I'm thinking that him and Chuck probably share the bass duties throughout the album. Yep, it looks like that's about it. I'm just kind of wondering why JY isn't as prominent. So that's, I guess maybe I'm taking too much out of context. Maybe JY is part of it. He's just decided not to write or sing on the album. That's all. Maybe he'll come back. He's done this before where he's gone down to not doing as much as he was doing when we come back. But I've noticed in the last 2 or 3 albums, he hasn't been singing much. His voice may be gone. Maybe it's just too hard to kind of do the level of voice there as he once did. Anyways, that's kind of where I was going with the music today, just talking randomly about various types of progressive rock stuff that I've been listening to and that I like. Some of the newer stuff that has come out in recent months that I've been doing some really very interesting, good stuff. A couple of albums that I like. I don't own either of them. I've actually decided that a couple of them, like the Red Sands one, that one I will likely, almost certainly get. They may even have it at the record store, so I'll try there first. If I have to, I will order that one through Laser CD. I just don't want to do that right yet. I've got too many bills to pay. Yeah, so that one, and then the other one that I did before that. The Babel one, possibly not. I'm not sure if I want to go there. The Sheave album was good too. That's not really progressive rock. And then the one before the Sheave, oh, that's the one I replaced the Babel with. I like that one quite a bit as well. So there's a couple of them there. Oh, that was the Revenge of Alice Cooper. That wasn't the one I was looking for, though. I was looking for the one that I replaced Babel with. At the last minute, I decided I wanted to do that. I can't remember what the name of it was. Oh, the Brass Camel. That was the other one. So the Brass Camel one and the Red Sands one, those ones, kind of like both of them. I think I'd like to get both of them. The Brass Camel has some amazing, extraordinary kind of instrumentation to their stuff. It's very kind of complex. Tough to classify too. I think it doesn't have a really strong sound in any one area, but it's really quite good. So anyways, I do apologize if you came on and expected to come on here and chat, and then I just wasn't able to get it set up properly. I didn't notice that it wasn't set for webcam, and then I couldn't figure out how to get it to be on webcam. I think you kind of have to set it before you do it. So I will be very sure to check that when I set the new one up for tonight. When I'm done today, after this video, I will go and set it up and make sure I get it right. So that's kind of where I was today. We were just going to have a free-for-all. Next week, though, we will be doing a part of my collection. I haven't picked. I've got 2 or 3 that I'm thinking about, so I will pick one of them and will be posted with the video. So hopefully there won't be any screw-ups next Sunday. Anyways, I guess it's best to just end it early today. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please hit the like and subscribe, and hope to see you all next week for the live stream, which hopefully will go well this time. So take care. Have yourself a good evening, and goodbye.